But of all the many girls who have passed through my salon, the one I remember most is Cécile de la Revuse. Cécile was by far the most interesting girl ever to attend my salon. She was the only daughter of the Marquise de la Revuse, an avaricious matron who had arranged a marriage for her child with the Comte de Zonguy. Now, the Comte is a cousin to the king himself, albeit a very minor cousin. His estates are immense and his fortune vast, but he is, between you and me, a confirmed old goat. No one ever thought he would marry. He could barely keep up with his several mistresses, never mind a spouse. However, the Marquise convinced him that nothing would rejuvenate his drooping flesh and jaded spirits half so much as a young, devoted wife. So, a bargain was struck, and Cécile was brought to my salon to be prepared for matrimony with this most disgusting of old men. A life spent shackled to the Comte would have been an ordeal for any girl, but Cécile was a particularly sensitive child. She was not like the other young misses who came to hear my salon tales. She was intense, beady of eye, and frighteningly practical. She took in everything, yet said nothing. The perfect attributes, one might think, for a biddable wife. Yet, in Cécile's case, I was not so sure. It seemed to me that her silent demeanour and outward compliance expressed not acquiescence, but rather a guarded circumspection that allowed her to appear outwardly compliant, while privately she thought her own thoughts, and went her own way. There was no doubt that the prospect of Cécile's marriage revolted her, as it would any sensible female. Yet when the other girls protested at the idea and said how much they pitied her, Cécile only shrugged. And when they asked her if she would not rather marry a different man, she merely replied, "If the Comte is not to be my husband, then it will probably be someone else just as repulsive. So what is the use of complaining?" What indeed? Cécile's discernment of her fate set her apart from her giddy companions, who were forever sighing and wishing for handsome young lovers to rescue them. She understood that those dreams only come true in fairy tales, and that it is as well to know the difference between fact and fiction. But in spite of her determined pragmatism, Cécile still loved to hear my tales of magic and wonder, and it was not long before she requested permission to become a storyteller herself. "It is just that I have such extraordinary thoughts in my head, madame," she said, "and I would like to have a chance to share them. For once I'm married, that chance will be gone." Of course, I could not refuse such a petition. So one afternoon, I rose from my gilded chair at the center of the semicircle and offered my place to Cécile. She smiled gravely, set down her cup of hot chocolate, and assumed the place of the storyteller. "Once upon a time," she began, as all good storytellers must. But, oh dear, what happened then? Here was no tale of an ogre turning into a prince. Instead, Cécile recounted the adventure of a young woman who lops off the head of her husband and takes to the skies with a dark and mysterious prince of ravens. What a commotion her wild mind created! It was days before I could persuade the rest of the girls to think about anything other than sleek black feathers and cruel noble beaks.